also demand that you make a public acknowledgement and an apology of your work with a federal informant. We also demand that you ask all members of DSL to leave this protest. We also demand that you put away all WWE propaganda or they will be taken from you. Will you meet these demands?
Is McCoy Fox here? I don't see her.
Will you meet these demands?
Not your land, not your soil. Hands off Venezuela and oil. Not your land, not your soil. Hands off Venezuela.
You know what? We were threatened, we were coerced, we were blackmailed into shutting down an organization that trains LGBT people, colored people in self-defense and arms training. That's what y'all did. That's what happened.
But we'll still pray for the left.
So, like, the clips in which you just saw are... Actually, let me frame it to you this way. When I was, you know, early on in my political journey, I was about a freshman in high school, right? 8th grade freshman. I was like a Democrat, right? Oh, over 2020, I was an 8th grader. Oh, no, it was way before. It's like in 6th, maybe end of 6th, 7th grade, around COVID, right? And I forgot where I heard it from, but it really perplexed me when I heard someone say, to be on the left, to be a true member, to be a Democrat, which I'm not anymore, to be a Democrat at the time, or to be a leftist, or socialist, or Marxist, or Maoist, or fucking, I don't know, whatever you call, I don't give a shit. But to be on the left, right, you must hate the left. You must vehemently, with every fiber of your God-given, Peter Thiel-given, baby-sucking, Epstein blood-drinking fucking body, must hate and fucking want to destroy the left. Fuck the left. And I'm like, what? What are you talking? You gotta be on the left to hate the left? How the fuck does that make sense? And now I want to be able to connect those concepts back to a little-known niche group, which was fucking videoed previously. It's how I'm going to connect this whole thing. The Red Guards of Austin, right? So these guys, they're Maoists, right? They want a dictatorship of the proletariat, right? They're for the fucking people. They're Antifa, right? They're sitting there, oh, we're going to fuck up Nazis. We're going to fuck up Proud Boys, right? Dope. Not saying I agree with their methods, but in theory, right? The shit that they were talking about in their messaging and what they theoretically stood for, I'm like, okay, a little too far for me, right? But you know what? I can see that, right? They're anti-imperialist, right? They're anti-USA intervention. But you know what? When I look them up and when I start to research them, you know what's one of the first things I see about this now disbanded fucking, like, the 80 billionth niche leftist group out there? They're fighting with PSL and DSA pictured in the video. Oh yes, we're Maoists, we're for the people, we love the people, we love the proletariat, we love the Black Panthers, we love the Brown Berets, and we love the IRA. So you know what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen? We're gonna go harass and fucking terrorize people from the DSA and the fucking PSL at a protest where it's only 7 of them. God damn it. That's what we're gonna do because they're revisionists and they're capitalists and they're liberals and liberalism is the moderate wing. Shut the fuck up. God, I hate the left. I really hate the left. And to me, those clips are just a perfect example of why I hate the left, and it's what I want to try to illustrate here today in this video of why the left, in my view, and it's the central thesis, so, of the video today, why the left is fucking failing. And like, I know I've already reiterated it, but the main reason as to why the modern American left today is failing is because we don't have unity. Instead of doing, like I said, a Tea Party of the Democratic Party, or taking over the Green Party, we just sit there in our own little fucking circle jerk fucking theory groups with their little fucking boyfriend, talking about revolution and talking about hypothetically overthrowing certain structures. And it's like, I'm sorry, bro. You don't got the dog in you to do that shit, bro. Like, and it just comes across as very cringe and performative. And, like, we live in an age now where being radical is a lot harder than I think it has been. It's always been hard, but especially since Trump 2 started, of course. But you have social media, you have Signal, you have Instagram, which I know is monitored, and everything is monitored, really, except for Signal. But the point I'm trying to illustrate is that there are so many avenues to organize peacefully and ways to make an impact in your local community, which I do want to make a follow-up video about how to make an impact on your local community, right? And we've seen this historically with the Black Panthers, right? Very diverse coalition of the White Panther Party, you had the Brown Berets and the Black Panthers. You had radicals and people who genuinely cared about the working class come together, all following the 10-point plan, right? Which is pictured right there in case if you don't know what the 10-point plan is. But, it was done at a time when things were arguably a lot harder and a lot easier. You know what I mean? So, I think that we can achieve our goals, but what we need to achieve our goals today is unity. We need a unified goal, and we need to make sure that we keep our own in check, right? We cannot have leftist infighting on the streets about which fucking dead philosopher from 200 years ago is actually the right one, and which one actually interpreted Marx correctly. It's stupid. Excuse me. It's bullshit. It goes nowhere, and it does nothing for the movement, and it does nothing for you or helping the working class or marginalized communities. And that's what I really want to stay away from, right? And to cap it off, I want to give one final example. I'm just going to talk from my head, and I'll post receipts probably up on the screen around here to back up what I'm saying. But take Butch Ware, who ran for governor with the Green Party, right? And I was actually really excited about his campaign. I'm like, cool, right? We're going to have someone, as he would say, who's off the plantation of the two-party system, who's charismatic, who is conventionally attractive, which I actually weirdly does help today, who has good policy and is genuinely a good dude who's been putting in the work throughout his entire career, right? And so I was excited. I was really fucking excited. And not to be a dick, but the brother did not run the best campaign. He did not have Dem Socks Zoran type motion with, social media. He did not have volunteers. He did not have the type of infrastructure that was needed for him to win, right? He did not market himself correctly with the broader left movement by going on the Majority Report and going on Zeteo and going on even Piers Morgan or going on Hassan, right? Hassan Piker. And with that, by not hitting, the mainstream left circuits or even trying to get on boomer cable TV, which would be very hard for him to do, right? But, instead of doing that, he polled at 1% and he lost, right? And there's no shame in that. You're running as a third-party candidate when everybody just votes lib, right? They just vote for liberals that they've seen on the ballot for a billion fucking years. Like Shoikat Chakrabarti, he lost to fucking Scott Wiener. Incredible candidate, incredible dude. But because, who's that guy? I don't really know who he is. Oh, fucking Scott Wiener? Okay, cool. Sure, yeah. I'll vote for him or whatever other fucking retarded Democrat is on the ballot. And so, with that, right, fucking, Butch Ware says, the reason I lost is because actually liberal Zionists like Hassan Piker endorsed Tom Steyer, who wasn't even viable. How could you trust billionaires? And I agree. But at the end of the day, brother, when you're polling at 1%, what kind of motion do you have for you to get on platforms? It's your job as a candidate to get people excited and to get people wanting to vote for you. It's your job to run a good campaign. If you don't market yourself, you're not going to get those opportunities. And to my knowledge, and I'll probably splice a clip right about.
Pause really quick on the fact that the Democrat establishment and even some progressive commentators like Hassan Piker have essentially been in support of Tom Steyer's campaign.
Did Hassan Piker endorse Steyer, or is he just giving interviews that you find friendly? And has he not interviewed you or responded to it?
He won't interview me. And he's been asked directly by Oliver Ma, who appeared on his show the day that Hassan Piker said that he would not vote for Gavin Newsom if that's the presidential candidate, that he would go third party. I made a post about it. I said, I heard my brother in Islam, Hassan Piker, might be, ready to get off the Democrat, plantation. I'm happy to talk to him at any time. He got tagged, I think, about 3,000 times across Twitter and Instagram on that day. And people that know us both, friends in the Muslim community, put us on text threads together. And he ghosted me, would not answer the text threads, would not respond.
Context, right? So now that we have the context of that, right? He did try to talk to Hassan and it didn't work out for whatever reason, but mainly because he's polling at 1%, right? When Tom Steyer is really, sadly was, even though he's a billionaire, the only, in my view, truly progressive candidate in the race. And there are issues that I disagree with him on, for example, like Gaza mainly, but wanting cow care, for example, that's really good. Wanting, subsidized or in some cases for lower income folks, free college as displayed on screen right now, right? Those are really good things that will actually help the working class. And just to reiterate the last point, meanwhile, instead of looking at that and instead of looking at candidates like Zoran, a lot of Maoist leftists, right, with the say, well, actually, they're in cahoots with the system, and they're actually just, democratic socialism is just the moderate wing of fascism. Yes, I know, but when you have mothers on food stamps who don't have, fathers who are helping them raise their 3 children and have to work 3 jobs, I'm sorry, but easing their material conditions is objectively the best thing we can do. And if Zoran has to go prance around with fucking Obama, that war criminal, to get a little bit of motion so he can pave the potholes in New York, or if Graham Plattner has to fucking campaign with Elizabeth Warren, that fucking Cherokee clout-chasing centrist fucking politician, fine. Because at the end of the day, all I care about in this entire movement is making conditions for the working class better under capitalism. And I understand what a lot of my tanky friends say about how we need to get rid of capitalism, and we can work on that. But that's why we need unity. You can have the Black Panthers, and you can have electoralism. You can have the IRA, and you can have Sinn Féin, right? You can have fronts where you're prepping for revolution, so to speak, and which is really just becoming self-sufficient, because I don't advocate for violence, right? But you also need to make the immediate conditions of the working class and the people who are most vulnerable, like trans youth, and like people who are pro-Palestinian or Palestinian, you need to do everything that you can in your power to make their lives better. And even though I disagree with Graham's methods or Zoran's methods, at the end of the day, they're getting fucking results. And in this movement, truly, if you're not getting results for the working class, then what the fuck is the point?